everyone, welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Brittany Jones-Cooper, and audiences know our next guest, Tommy Davidson, for his many memorable characters on In Living Color. But in his new memoir, Living in Color, Davidson gets honest about what was going on behind the scenes. From tensions on set to navigating Hollywood and even battling addiction, Davidson shares funny and touching stories from his 30-year career. Please put your hands together for Tommy Davidson. Tommy, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm inside.
Yes, right?
Yeah, it's cold outside.
It's really cold.
Yeah, and then we got the beautiful, like, silver carpet.
And we've got green sofas.
And lime green sofas and, like, cool people.
Yeah, we want to create the vibe here.
Keep, you know, just like home in my living room.
You know what I mean? What do they call it? Like high?
Yeah.
You know, like just like a comfortable feeling?
So comfy.
I wanted to make it comfortable for you because I really love this book.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm being very genuine. I grew up watching you and the rest of the cast on In Living Color. It really was one of my favorite shows. I think a lot of people who grew up in my generation just always go back to just how influential that show was and how much it was a part of our lives.
We loved giving it to you guys. We love giving it to you too.
Reading this book to just put some of those stories down, I loved, but then also knowing what was going on with you during that time, before and after, was really, really great for me to read. So I want to know, why did you want to write this book now?
Well, it was because of my sister. My sister said, you never talk about mom, you know, and she had passed away about 10 years ago. So I put some thought into that, and, you know, I wasn't really that cool on really talking about my family because I was so different all my life. At least it seemed to me. You know, a black dude having a white family wasn't the most popular thing in Washington, D.C. In the 70s and late 60s. You know, so I'd be embarrassed when she come to school because black people be like, you know, you ain't black. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not. I'm brown. You know what I mean? So, and I always thought that I was brown because I knew my colors from the crayons. You know, I didn't know that we were even called black until we moved to Washington, D.C. That we who are brown, yeah. And the black kids kicked our ass and were calling my sister and my brother white cracker and calling me a white cracker lover. And so I got home and I was like, why do they keep kicking our ass because I'm a white? They say I'm a white cracker lover. I like graham crackers. Like,
you're a kid.
Yeah. I'm like, white crackers are kind of dry. You got to have water with them. Unless you got like tuna or something to put on them. Graham crackers, like, wham, you're in. You know what I mean? One bite and you're in. Yeah. So that was difficult for me. And then all the years that I went, you know, trying to find my own black identity, which is not hard to find when the police pull you over. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know you're black then. You know, but just, you know, just who I was. So that was a journey. And so I decided it's time to talk about that. And I'm 56 now, and, you know, it's time to talk about me, and I can help. I can help and be an aid to those who are growing into people themselves. You know, people helped me get exactly where I was, and it wasn't a black person or a white person. It was all of the above. It could be Jamaican or Haitian man or something like that, man. Or it could be, you know, Mexican or Puerto Rican or Dominican, you know. They love each other, by the way. Puerto Ricans and Dominicans are like, if you call a Puerto Rican a Dominican, they'll be like, yes, I love that.
But you know, you sharing your story and your journey to your identity, and I think you growing up in a white family and what that meant for you and how that impacted you as an entertainer was really interesting to hear, because your stand-up, you talk about things, you know, being in that family maybe was difficult at some point, but then in your comedy, you were able to reach different audiences.
Yeah.
So how did your childhood and growing up in that situation impact you once you became a stand-up and started sharing your entertainment with people?
I think I'm a tape recorder, so I don't know how I did it, because I didn't really do it. It was already there. You know what I mean? So, you know, your white woman to me is like the hero of the world because she like speaks up for everybody, no matter where you are, Costco, IHOP, or whatever. You know, you're at the grocery store and it's like nobody wants to ask for their manager, and black people can't say it. Where's manager? You know, and white women are like, hello, what's going on in here? Someone come out and help us, please. It's ridiculous. You know, then the manager comes out and goes, who's wanting to talk to me? You see? You see what I mean? This is America, right? Why you don't want people to like you? Why nobody don't like you? Because you're acting like very mean. You see? So it's all in me. It's all a part of me. So that's how I came to be. It was easy.
And it sets you apart. And let's talk about the time that you were coming up in stand-up. Can you just talk about some of the other guys that we know now that were coming up with you and what it was like doing stand-up at that time where it just seemed so competitive and so cutting edge, and you had people like Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor. So what was that time like for you?
Like a Pokemon tournament. Like it was on, you know? It's like the Combine and the NFL. We were all there. D.L. Hewley, Cedric the Entertainer, Martin Lawrence, Jim Carrey, Ben Stiller, Adam Sandler, Jerry Seinfeld, Roseanne Barr, all of them. We were all at the Comedy Store, all at the Improv at the same time. We were all kind of jockeying for what was next. You know, the TV shows weren't out yet. Seinfeld wasn't out yet. Roseanne wasn't out yet. In Living Color hadn't happened yet. Martin hadn't happened yet. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air hadn't happened yet. So we were all there in Hollywood, like at the same time, and it was like a renaissance, like a comedy renaissance. And you guys get the result of it because everybody went on to do bigger and better things. Yeah.
You mentioned the shows weren't there yet. You talk about some close calls you had with the shows, one being A Different World. I had no idea he was almost Dwayne.
Oh, man, I was almost Dwayne Wayne, you know? And I was eating minute rice and sizzlines. They got sizzlines anymore?
I don't know what that is.
Sizzlines is like a bacon product. I don't even think it's real. You know, it's like crab with a K, you know? Yeah, so, you know what I mean? It was like bacon, you know, with an extra N, you know? Yeah. And so I was eating that and like catching the bus, and here was a chance for me to be on NBC following the Cosby Show, you know? And it didn't happen. So I was about to pack it up and go home, and my mom sent me a $20 bill in my mail and said, "Don't leave." And very soon after that, I got In Living Color.
But you said no first.
I said no. I said no to In Living Color because I was so mad and so disappointed. I was going to go back to what I surely know, which was stand up. And let that be a lesson to you. You know, no means not yet. And I really do mean that. It means not yet. Right at the point where you think it's not going to happen, if you try, it stands a chance to. You know, it's like that, like the sidewalk. You ever walked up a sidewalk and it's all concrete and there's a little crack and there's like a little piece of grass going, "I'm here, man. I'm here." You know, and that's what it is. That's what it is. And that's why I wanted to share all of my experiences with my audience, because they're the ones that made it possible. They saw me before they knew my name and go, "This is a little guy. He's funny. He's on the show In Living Color. What is his name?" And then finally they were able to put my name in front of a club and people would show up. People would put my name in front of a movie. People would show up, and whatever anybody else is doing and whatever they want to be, they can be.
Yeah. Because you were able to really showcase that you were more than just a comedian on that show. You could sing, you could dance, you could do these impersonations. So after, it really did impact your life in the ways that I'm assuming that it did, as far as like strengthening your profile and people could really see what you could do.
Yeah, and I did impressions. I always did impressions, but I didn't know what they were. You know, I'd be in the kitchen doing algebra. My mother would be like, "Shut up." Then she saw him on TV, was like, "Do that again?" You know, but it didn't take me long to look at people and be able to do them like Obama, you know. "Well, for the first part, the one thing that we Americans need to be concerned about is trying to make things seem better. So let's take, for example, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. They're part of an essential breakfast. I don't know if you've ever seen Tony the Tiger. He rocks this blue bandana. It's not a Crip thing. It's just that he's just stylish. Now, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes is a part of an essential breakfast. You'll see a carafe of orange juice and a carafe of milk, and you'll see bananas and oranges and all that included with a bowl of sugar Frosted Flakes. That means it's a part of an essential breakfast. Now, he would get along with children completely. I mean, he can ride a mountain bike. He can ride a skateboard. He can do all the things children love to do. So Kellogg's Frosted Flakes not only are part of an essential breakfast, but they're great.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Wow, you got that Obama like stutter down real.
I happen to like Pop-Tarts. No. And sour gummy worms.
Of all the
and chicharrones. And mofongo. No. We're in New York. Okay, go ahead. Go.
Of all the, I was gonna let you keep going.
Go.
I love mofongo, by the way.
Me
all
too.
the impersonations you did, what is the one that people come up to you the most for from Living Color?
I think it would probably be Sammy Davis Jr. So I did it so much, people who are younger come up to me and go, Tommy Davis Jr. But that's the one that kind of catches everyone's attention. And although you might not know who this guy is, this is going to scare you right now. He had a glass eye, and I like to refer that as a glass high because he was also Yiddish.
I never really learned the words to Mr. Bojangles. I know the lyrics that you guys made up on the show.
Let me hear.
The part where he goes, and when you left, the IRS took what was due and left you blue. They took everything they could find, except my love for you.
Except my love for you. Watch it, my marble just fell out. No, okay.
But that's the impact that even the mute, like
watch it, the gumball's gone.
That stuff stuck. It sticks though. That show, the influence it had on people and culture. Have you really kind of absorbed like what that show means to people? And
yeah, we were beautiful.
Yeah,
we were beautiful. We were the first television show that looks the way America looks to me. Yeah. That everybody's included, Asian, Caribbean, everybody, Jewish, Polish, Italian. We all were in the same show, laughing at the same things. We always laughed at the same things, but there was really never a show that showed us. You had Seinfeld, had friends, but he had no Dominican friends, or any Haitian friends or any black friends in New York. So where was that, on the moon? Oh, wait a minute, So we were finally that show. And that's what makes it magic to me. And we were able to make fun of everybody. And no one would be like, you can't do the Oscars because you said that. You get them off of TV because they said that. Everything was cool and everybody accepted it and everything was balanced and we could just have fun without offending people.
Which is so interesting because when you go back and watch some of the sketches, you guys were pushing the envelope then. Now you're really pushing it now because of this PC culture we live in. When you look back, do you think like, oh, some of those jokes didn't age well? Or do you sort of just like revel in like that you could do that then?
Yeah.
Be pure.
Yeah, I revel in it because, we need to take it easy. We need to take it easy because things are a lot harder now. People want to go up into schools and shoot up kids and, there's a lot going on that wasn't going on then. There's a lot more tense than comedy. So we're still being rerun and the kids love it, and the outgrowth of that they had with Keenan and Kel and all that. I don't know if anybody watched all that when they were coming up. And, we're still around. We're still going strong, but we're just manifesting ourselves in other ways.
And we always hear about the culture and the difficult culture at places like SNL. And you really sort of share your journey with In Living Color that it wasn't always great, that there were tensions for you and difficulties. Was there any hesitation about writing about just some of the conflict you had behind the scenes, specifically with Keenan Ivory Wayans?
Yeah, I think there was. Yeah, for me there was, because I don't want anybody to judge it as I don't like him. Right. You know what I mean? I love him and I love his family and they're very, 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 very close to me and I love him a lot. But no one gets along with the people that they work with all the time. You know what I mean? I don't care if you work at Chuck E. Cheese. It's just going to like the zipper stuck on the mouse or whatever. It's going to be something. And so, but that wasn't really the reason why I did that, was to go, oh, this person or that person or that person. I pointed out the things that were difficult for me to get past. And it describes how I got past them. But most importantly, it described how I got past them still respecting and loving the person and still loving what I do. Just because somebody, does something that you don't like or you wouldn't prefer doesn't mean that you got to dislike them for the rest of their life. It's just what happened then. And it's very important for me to have the same joy that I've always had when I was a kid. And life can take that away from you. And I'm not letting that happen. Like, I want to be as happy as I was when I was 8 years old before I had bills. I'm going to have to be happy with the bills intact because the bills ain't going to stop. You know what I mean? I heard Dick Gregory say the guy, the Sears called his house and said, you know what? We're not calling you no more for no payments. We're tired of it. He said, good, because I can't pay for it. You know what I mean? It's just like, be able to live life, and we grow up. We grow up and we become parents, or you will become parents, or, you know, we become a part of society. And what kind of person are you going to be? Are you going to be the kind of person that has a young person come along and help them with what they're doing? You know?
Do you have that same relationship with Jamie Foxx? Because it seemed like you guys had similar talents, at some points maybe pinned up against each other. Although when I saw you on screen, you guys were so dynamic. But again, you talk about just sort of the power struggles behind the scenes. So is that something you've been able to rectify over the years?
Yeah, it never really was that much of a problem. It's like in the workplace, we went head to head. We went to head to head. You know, and now he's an amazing artist, as you know. He's doing his thing, and I ain't got nothing but love for him. And he's killing the game, killing the game. But I want people to know that it's not easy. The business isn't easy. You know, working at a job isn't easy, and relationships aren't easy, you know?
Yeah, and you talk about that and then your personal struggles. You had some PTSD from your childhood and partnered with the success. You started to have some struggles with addiction. So when did you really realize that you had to address those?
It became really obvious. It became obvious when it became obvious when I stopped doing what I love to do. When I couldn't show up to work, and I worked my whole life to do that. I didn't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to destroy everything that I work for. It's just a process that's not new. You know, who's seen people under the bridge before when you're riding home, or you've seen a hobo or a bum that's so dirty they got soot everywhere? Well, they are person just like us, but an event or whatever happened changed their stand on life. You know, and that's something like that almost happened to me. You know, and PTSD for me, the post-traumatic stress disorder, that it came from me being dumped in the trash when I was an infant. Nobody knows how long I was there. The first time I saw a real example of me was I saw the little spork in Toy Story 4. And I was like, oh, that's kind of like me and what happened to me. So it's kind of like the perfect storm. You know, enough people hurt my feelings, okay? I was already hurt enough from what I had gone through in my life. I turned to something else that I thought would make it better, which would only make it worse. And I bought into it, but got through it. And I think that I owe it to the people that helped me to give it to someone else. So when you go to the book, you go through those pages, you'll see just how dark things got in juxtaposition to how bright of an individual and how strong of an individual I am. Not only throughout it, but during it and before it. You know, and all of us have our own stuff that we're going to go through, if you haven't already. You know, and nobody wants to talk about it. You know, like, you know, the thing that I found out about me that was most glaring and was most surprising to me was that I'm not perfect. You know, I'm not perfect. And it's hard to fight that one off, because it ain't like the world don't expect you to be. You know what I mean? You know, the first thing they say is, you know, what happened? What happened with that, man? You know, well, why you ain't step up on it? You know, why you ain't do that right, though? You know what I mean? We got to have A's, right? Got to have A's. You got to be, well, you can do better than that. You're like, yeah, but I tried my best, but you can do better. Yeah, but I tried my best, but you can do better, man.
It's so much pressure.
You can do better, man.
It's so much pressure, especially you were breaking into movies. You had all these amazing things going on. And I know that you had done a movie with Jada Pinkett Smith, and her mom was actually somebody who was really influential in helping you to get sober.
I call it my God squad. You know, people that are close to you, that are there right when you need them. You know, and she was able to guide me in the right direction so I can go and deal with whatever there was, so I can keep on being happy, you know, because that's the bottom line. Yeah.
How long have you been sober?
I'd say about 20-something years.
Wow.
I would say something so that, you know. That's why, kind of interestingly enough, though, it happened so long ago that I actually kind of haven't really thought about it that much. I just thought it was important that it was there and that people could learn whatever they need to learn for whatever they're going through, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's also just important, like you said, that we are all human. And when you see somebody really at the top of their game, which we've seen you, to know that you also have your struggles and that you also have the things that you have to overcome, and that it's a constant process that you're constantly working on. It didn't happen overnight. I think you said you went to rehab a handful of times.
It took a minute. It took a minute for me.
So
to
I think that again, that's so important for people to know that it doesn't happen.
It took me a couple of trials to get sex right too. So, hey, everything takes a little trial. Who in here had some trial and error? Okay, just me. Okay, fine.
It was
fine, just me.
Just
okay,
you.
fine.
Nobody's gonna own up to that.
Who was successful at it? Your parents. You know what I mean? So it's like the good thing about my mom was she was open about everything. There wasn't that kind of pressure where I couldn't ask her about sex. I couldn't ask her about what drugs were about. I couldn't ask her, what relationships were about. And I think it's important that we all have a source to go to. And I don't think that social media is the best source to go to for stuff that's happening personally with you. It kind of reminds me of the bathroom stall where like anybody can write anything and everybody gets to read it. You know what I mean? And you wouldn't go to the bathroom stall and go, well, I'm having problems in my relationship. I'll be right back and give me the answer. Once you're done in here. You know what I mean? That's where family and good friends, that's something that can't be replaced. Because, like, okay, here is the internet in the palm of my hand and my phone, and then it falls in the ocean. If I'm depending solely on that, then what do I have left? Or some satellite up there that's shooting signals. And I'm serious about what I'm saying, too. I've come to depend on it myself. But for the things that I really, really need, if I have so many Facebook friends, then how come when I asked for $1 each, nobody sent me nothing? I was like, wait a minute, where'd my Facebook friends go? So it's not that it's not, something that's good, but it's not something that's going to fix me. It's not that something that's going to give me the answers that I need to get through the stuff I need to. I really need to personally. That's just me, just my opinion. Hey.
No, I mean, there's power in community.
Yeah.
I think we can all
hit me on my Instagram and you can give me comments. No, I'm just kidding.
So reading the book and looking at the plan that you and your agent had, come up with at the beginning of your career, it looks like you checked a lot of those boxes.
You read that.
I read the book,
Say it again.
guys.
Say it again.
I don't remember what I said.
You said I had a plan.
You had a plan. You followed the plan. You were a stand-up. You were on TV. You did film. Yeah. At this point in your career, what just keeps motivating you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to doing what I'm doing. This is exactly where I am. I still can't feel this. I never thought that I would be able to actually do a book. And then the nature of the book is like for you, and I never thought that I could have something that would really help someone. But I know that for a fact now. And this is one of my greatest accomplishments, being able to tell you that I'm my mom's greatest accomplishment. I'm my mother's greatest accomplishment because this white woman moved me to Washington, D.C., and I think she was determined to create a human being who was made of love, man, and wasn't tripping, and that can basically, be transparent, but solid. See, those are two different things at the same time. She was a strong woman, and she was, she parented us by herself. Like a lot of us come from single family homes, and I'm a latchkey kid. I didn't necessarily have, a higher education and a degree and all that stuff, And she made, her bottom line was, this is her bottom line. She said, as long as you do something that makes you happy and you not hurting nobody and you can make a living, I'm happy. So I met that quota.
You did that.
I met that quota, yeah.
And along the way, you brought us all so much joy and laughter. So that's just like a little added bonus, right?
It's a bonus. And my kids, me and my kids are balling. We never missed one movie. We all went to the movies together. Arcades when there used to be, you put a quarter in, but Xbox and everything. We have a really, really good time. And they turned out to be, I watched them with other people. They turned out to be just as sweet and loving and as caring. And I had my 17-year-old, at the time, they're a little bit older now, was talking to my 19-year-old at the time. And they were talking about what Christmas was the best Christmas, And so at the time, I got in the car with my 8-year-old. He was a little guy. He was probably about 5. And I said, hey, Isaiah, what was your favorite Christmas? He said, all of them. All of them. What are you talking about? So I was able to, you know, continue the legacy of good, you know?
It's really beautiful. We do have some questions before we get out of here.
No!
Yes. First one's over there. Hey, sir.
Hey, I just want to say first, thank you, because this is the best interview I've seen, because it's inspiring. It actually touched me because I'm going through some stuff.
Oh, thank you,
But
thank you.
I don't want to get off the track. My question.
No, that's right on time. You're saying the right thing.
Yeah. So my question is, someone older, what advice do you have for them to get back into the business? And in my condition, I'm messed up, so I might as well do lay down comedy. I can't do stand up. But
Well, I'm gonna go to the internet, you know, and there's, you know, the good thing about it is that all the information you ever could need is in there, and just go search specifically what it is that you want. There's a lot of people on the internet that are looking for the same things or looking to help someone like you, you know, and I would start there. And start inside of yourself, knowing exactly what it is that you want to do. Exactly. You know what I mean? If you go out on a date with a girl, you know, you do better off if she tells you what she needs you to do, right? Right, you don't got to guess, right? You be like, okay, cool, I'm down, you know? So, same thing. Well, not quite the same thing, but you know what I'm saying.
thank you.
You got it.
Next one.
So thank you, Tommy, for being here and for just being transparent with us.
Thank you. And yes, I do know the words to glory in God. Glory. No, I'm just playing. No, go ahead.
You brought up grades first, and
Uh-huh.
I think we're all in the school of life. So in school of life, I would give you a V for versatile.
Nice, nice.
You like that? But what would you give yourself? You've done so many things just in your career. Maybe just focus on relationship, family, and maybe giving back to the community. What grades would you give yourself?
I give me a nice big old E for effort. You know, because I always try my best. No matter what I do, I try my best. You know, sometimes my best isn't enough, you know, for others. You know, and that's just how it goes. But as long as I know I try my best, you know, I have relationships that don't work out. At the end of it all, if I try my best, I can feel good about it. And if I didn't, I try my best to be honest with myself so I can learn from it and go to the next situation. And that goes for jobs and everything. So I give myself an E for effort. You know, it's hard for me, you know, being black in this country and seeing all the pain that we've gone through, you know, and most of my effort has gone to not being angry about it or not being resentful about it, but seeing what I can do for myself, and mainly for others, you know, for others. If I'm going to take that stance that I'm this person and I'm that and you can't help me and because I've been wronged and all of this stuff, it doesn't really help the situation because we're not, I take away the term human race because that means we're all racing for the finish line. I would rather call us mankind because that's the only way we're going to get it done. It's the only way we're going to get it done. Even the island Manhattan that we're on right now, if it wasn't for the Dutch slave trade, okay, and if it wasn't for the what happened to the Native Americans, all of us wouldn't be here in the first place. So we just got to deal with the way things are and make the best of what we got.
I like that versatility. Yeah, give it up. I like that versatility comment because he is so versatile, obviously, in the entertainment space. But in the book, it's amazing how you're able to weave in your personal story,
Right.
some of your struggles, but also giving like detailed recounts of In Living Color sketches that brought up so many memories for me. And you give so much insight into some of our favorite comedians and what they're like and your exchanges with them. So it is really this versatile book. I read it in one sitting. Congrats on it. And thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having
I really
me.
appreciate it. And if you guys want to check it out, Living in Color is available now wherever books are sold. Put your hands together for Tommy Davidson.